Hello, Mrs. Vidrio students. I'm Mrs. Mayerson, and I'm here in my fake library to begin talking to you about chapter books. I know that you're going to be getting an assignment to read chapter books and to respond to them in your response journals. So, Miss Vidrio asked me to talk to you about what kinds of books are chapter books and where you can find them in the library, as well as how you can pick out what you might like to read and what's best for you to read. So, let's get started. Now let's talk about the difference between picture books and chapter books. With a picture book, the story is told mostly through the pictures in the book. In fact, you'll probably find a picture on almost every page. And the story is pretty short. Usually picture books are around 32 pages. Now, chapter books are a little longer, and the story is mostly told through words. With a chapter book, you might find pictures, but probably not on every page, and most of the time, the pictures are in black and white. We do have other books in the library that are broken up into chapters, but these are called novels. The chapters are longer, and the vocabulary is probably a little bit more difficult. Most of the time, you will be looking at chapter books where you'll have shorter chapters with easier vocabulary and probably some pictures. Let's begin by looking at leveled chapter books. Leveled chapter books can be found in the leveled books section. These are the ones with green dots on the spine label. Leveled books are usually about 20 to 75 pages, and these chapter books have large print, and you might find a picture on every page or two. Examples of leveled books are the Henry and Mudge series, the Frog and Toad series, and the Minnie Moo series. Take a look at the page from a Minnie Moo leveled book. You can see that the print is very big and the vocabulary is relatively easy to read. You'll also see that there are pictures. Now we'll look at series chapter books, the easy kind. Now let's talk about what I call easy chapter books. That doesn't mean that these chapter books are easily read by everyone, but if you do choose one of these books, you will probably be looking at reading about 60 to 100 pages. The vocabulary might be a little bit more difficult than a leveled chapter book, but you'll get a story that's relatively easy to follow because there are only a few characters. Your chapters may have chapter numbers, or they may have titles. Sometimes you might even get a picture or two. Examples are the Amber Brown series. Check out books from the Cam Jansen Mystery series, or books from the Magic Treehouse series. Look at this page from a Magic Treehouse book. The print is kind of large, the chapter has a title as well as a number, and you also see a black and white picture. Now let's move on to series chapter books of medium difficulty. With medium level chapter books, you'll probably be reading a book that's anywhere from 75 to 200 pages. These books have larger vocabulary and smaller print. You might be lucky to get an illustration or two. Examples of the medium difficulty could be the Boxcar Children or the Time Warp Trio series. You could also try one of my personal favorites, Beverly Cleary's The Ramona series. Here's a page from a Ramona book. You can see the text takes up almost all of the page. It's quite small and there are no illustrations. The vocabulary is probably medium difficulty. So, how do you pick the right book? One that you can kick back and relax to read, maybe by the ocean or under your favorite palm tree? Well, I like to employ the 5-finger test. Let's take a look at it and see how it can work for you. Here's an illustration of the 5-finger test. To do the test, choose a book. Open it up to the middle and read a page out loud. For every word that you don't know, put up 1 finger. If at the end of your reading you have 0 fingers up, the book might be too easy for you. 1 or 2 might be okay. 3 and 4 might be too hard, and if 5 fingers are up, pick another book. Thank you for taking part in my video experiment. I hope you learned a lot about chapter books in this lesson and you feel ready to choose one that's appropriate for your reading level. In the next part, we'll get up and walk around the library. I'll show you where you can find chapter books and you'll choose one to take home with you today. Thanks so much! Let's get started.